Today I'm showing 5 ideas of how to make your Sims lives feel more realistic without using mods. I'm going to make another video like this with mods, but I want the first video to show ideas without mods. Before we go into the game, I just want to say sorry I haven't posted much in December. I was sick at the beginning of December, and then I was okay for like a week, and then I got sick again. I work with little kids, like 4 and 5 years old usually, and they're sick very often. So yeah, but I'm back. I hope to post around 3 videos a week. That's my goal. But December kind of took me out. But let's go into the game and I'll show you these ideas. The first idea is career stopping. That's what I call it. It's taking your sim to a certain level of a career and then just stopping there. Because how often in real life does anybody get to the very top of a career? So for this sim, he is an independent consultant in the social media startup career. He's level 8, so it's pretty high up. He actually had a university degree, so that's why he started here. But I'm not going to let him go any farther because what even are the next levels? .com pioneer, startup genius. Those aren't even real jobs. He's just going to stay here. Independent consultant, that sounds like a real job. You have to be some kind of prodigy of the internet to have a title like .com pioneer. So he's just going to stay here. And all he has to do is not get his programming skill up to level 9, and then he can stay here and it's more realistic. He has a real life job title. So that's one way to make things more realistic. And then his wife, Linda, she is a UFologist. I might get her up 1 or 2 more, but I think the highest I would personally have her go would be laboratory leader, because what does this mean? Pioneer of new technologies. What? That's not a job. Mad scientist. No, she's a nice girl. She's not a mad scientist. Extraterrestrial explorer. That sounds kind of cool. But she's just going to get to laboratory leader. That feels a lot more realistic. And then your Sims aren't just like rolling in money constantly. There's a bit of sense to their finances and to the jobs that they have. Everything isn't just on easy mode for them. And I love playing rich Sims. My favorite Sims are my celebrity Sims. But when I play non-celebrity, uber rich, super rich Sims, I want them to have kind of a realistic income. So that's where this career stopping idea comes in. And you can also do the same in the lower levels of the career. For example, if he were at level 3, I could just take a little bit longer to get him up to level 4. And then that would feel more realistic too, instead of getting promoted like every other day. The next idea is pretty simple, but it makes things surprisingly difficult, and that's to make your Sims actually clean up everything and pick up after themselves. And this isn't just with dishes, obviously, but things like laundry. Instead of you picking up the clothes and dragging them to the hamper, or picking up the dishes and dragging them to the sink, actually make your Sim clean them up. It adds a small dose of realism, and it makes things harder for your Sim because maybe they're home from work and they're tired and the last thing they want to do is clean, but the house is dirty and they have to clean. So I think that's just a really simple, easy way to make things more realistic. And also it adds some difficulty to your Sim's life, so they're not always in a perfect mood all the time. But with your regular Sims, once you've been playing with them for a few days, things start breaking, there's dirty appliances everywhere, and so it is actually kind of difficult to keep up with the housework. Like maybe they can't wash the dishes before they go to work, and then they come home and there's smelly dishes on the table, and then they're in a bad mood. And I think that's a lot more realistic, so I like doing that in my game. Something else that goes into that is hygiene. I like making my Sims brush their teeth, and if they're a teen, they can apply facial cleanser. I wish all Sims could do that. I wish I could give my Sims a skincare routine, and I'm sure I can do that with a mod. I just haven't looked for it yet. But yeah, I always like making my Sims brush their teeth, and if they're a teen, apply facial cleanser. If it makes them late for work, it makes them late for work. I just think it's way more realistic to do that. Also, having them drink water is another thing you can add on to this idea. I'm not really good at making my Sims drink water, even though I drink water very often in real life, but that is something I would like to try implementing with my Sims more. The next thing I do to make my Sims lives, who are you dreaming about? Anyway, the next thing I do to make my Sims lives feel a bit more realistic for me is to give them daily routine. So I'm going to try to do a quick routine overview for this little family. This sim will go into work at 9 a.m. and she actually works from home, this sim right here. So this is the sim whose daily routine we're going to take a look at. The first thing we're going to do is to get the baby up, and then we're going to feed the baby before my sim here can have breakfast. And for me, it's not really about following a strict hourly schedule, although sometimes it works out like that depending on the sim. For me, it's about just doing the same tasks each day, kind of in the same order. And I really like that, especially with Sims who work from home. I think that adds a lot of realism, and playing through a routine with those Sims makes it really fun for me. So we are feeding Aurelia here breakfast. Something else I like to do, just a small thing, is put lots of diapers and baby wipes and lotion and things like that right next to the baby's crib. So after we feed the baby, we're going to put her down on a little play mat, and then we're going to have breakfast ourselves. All right, she just finished breakfast. She's going to clean up her plate, and I'm going to have her put away the fruit salad here. I'm going to have her put it away instead of me dragging it, just to add a bit of realism. Oh, and she has to go pick up a baby bottle too. I forgot to mark this sink as a bathroom sink, but anyway, it's okay. She's almost finished. All right, it's about 8 a.m. I'm gonna have her brush her teeth and get dressed for the day. I like to make my Sims actually walk to the dresser and change into their clothes for the day there. But she's a yoga sim tuber, so she's wearing her athletic clothes for work for the day. We're going to give the dog some attention. We're just going to play with the dog a little bit. And then I want her to do a couple of other chores before she starts the day. Now she's going to empty the trash. The dog bowl is full, and then I'm also going to have her make some baby formula. I really love doing this slow routine kind of thing with my Sims who work from home. I think it makes me feel really invested in the Sims' daily life. And now she's going to come back and wash her hands. I also make my Sims wash their hands before they cook anything. Oh, actually, while she's making the baby formula, she's going to put the kettle on so then she can make some tea or something to have before she starts recording for the day. Oh, and her royalties came in. She just has 2 videos. I'm starting a yoga channel, and let's get focused. We made the baby formula. All right, now we're going to have our tea. Hello, my game crashed. So it's the night before again. But anyway, she was about finished with her morning routine. She was just going to have her cup of tea and go to the bathroom. And then after that, the rest of her day would start. She would start recording for her little YouTube yoga channel. I really love the little YouTube room that I made for her. It's really cute. But anyway, that was just to show my Sims kind of daily routine as she gets ready for work. And then after her video, then her wife would come home. They would make dinner and settle down for the night. But I really love giving my Sims little tasks to do while they get ready, like cleaning up the house, but maybe you have to leave a cup of tea on the table. Maybe you don't have time to wash your cup of tea or take out the garbage because you have to start work. I like those little things and making sure that my Sims do all of their little daily household tasks. So yeah, that's idea number 3, is giving my Sims a daily routine. And I especially love it with my Sims who work from home, like this one. The next idea I have is to track your Sims' ages. I only recently started doing that, and I love it. And I'll show you what that looks like in my notes app. But basically, I take the pregnancy time span in the game. So it's 3 days, right? And that's 9 months of pregnancy, basically. So I take that to mean that each sim day is about 3 months of real life time. And so I started measuring my Sims' actual ages that way, and I keep track of it to see when I should age them up and to get an idea of maybe what kind of hobbies they're into, what lifestyle they might have. This is my Sim, and this is the Sim that she married, so I wasn't keeping track of this Sim's age until she joined the household. So I'm just pretending they're exactly the same age, but they are 24 and 4 months old. And so each day in my little notes app, I'll add 3 months to their age. So when they wake up Thursday morning, they'll be 24 and 7 months old. and their baby is currently 6 months old, and then tomorrow she'll be 9 months old. So they're still young adults, and when they reach 35 is when I'll age them up into adults. And then once they reach that adult stage, I'm going to use every 5 years as kind of a benchmark to give them some CC skin details to show that they're aging and to progress them toward middle age once they get to that point. So it does take a long time to play through certain life stages, particularly young adult and adult especially, that will be the longest, but I really like it. I've gotten really obsessed with my Sims kind of daily lives and their progression through each life stage by doing it this way. So if you're curious how this works out math-wise with how many days each of my lifespans ends up being, I obviously have to play with aging off to be able to do this. But the way that I measure it is the newborn stage I consider to be up to 6 months. And this might not actually be a real life newborn stage, but just to actually have them be in the newborn bassinet for like 2 days instead of just immediately aging up, because I do kind of develop a little bit of their personality while they're in the newborn bassinet. And if you're curious what kind of personality I develop, I actually have a video on that of how I make newborns, infants, and toddlers interesting. So I'll link that one now. But I do like giving them a little bit of time in the newborn bassinet. So that is 2 days in my gameplay. And then when they're an infant, I consider that to be up until 2 years old, just because the toddlers in the Sims game don't look like they could be any younger than 2, in my opinion. So I have them as an infant from age 6 months to 2 years. So that ends up being 6 days that I play, considering each day is 3 months. And you can do this math, this measuring, however you want to do. The concept is just to keep track of your Sims ages. That's all that this concept is. I'm just showing you what my method and my measuring system is in case you're interested in trying it. And then I'll put the other ages up on the screen too. I really love keeping track of my Sims ages this way. What just happened with you two? Oh no. What did you do? What? Whatever. I want to make some kind of trackers for people to keep track of things like their Sims personalities, why you chose certain traits, what your plans for their stories are, where they live, where they've moved to throughout their lives, just lots of storytelling things. I just have lots of ideas to make trackers for different storytelling things in the game. So if you're interested in something like that, please let me know because I would love to get started on making those. But that's it for this idea. And now let's go on to the last idea. The last idea that I want to show is realistic move in, move out situations. And there are a lot of ways to do this, but I'm just going to show my method. So let's have this Sim move out of her current place. And I don't play with this Sim, so I don't have anything in her house that I want to bring with her. If I did play with this Sim, then I would, of course, make sure that her household inventory and everything is how I want it to be, but I don't play with her, so we're just gonna sell all of her furniture. I want to find a little starter home for her, but she does not have that much money. Let's go to San Sequoia. There should be a couple starter homes there. How about this one? Yes, that's good. A 4-bedroom house and you live alone. Whatever. Here, let's move in. This is how I like to make my Sims houses look when they move in. They're unfurnished except for the kitchen, counters, and appliances. And depending on where you live, you might have a refrigerator already there when you move in, or you might not. But this Sim just moved to San Sequoia, so it's based on San Francisco in the US, so she would have a refrigerator there. So it's up to you whether you would include that or not. But it also has the stove, the sink, the cabinets. It has a little fire alarm, but there's nothing else in here. No clutter, no curtains. There's no garbage can in the kitchen because that's stuff my Sim would bring when she moves in. And then the bathrooms are also furnished, but you'll notice there are no towels, there's no soap or anything like that. And then I have some moving boxes around here. I don't actually use the boxes as storage because there's so few things that your Sims can actually put in there. So I just use them to pretend and to take up space in the empty house. And then something else that I do to make the move-in feel realistic is when my Sim buys stuff, of course they need to furnish the house. So each day when she comes back from work, I'll furnish a new room with the money she got from work that day. But also, if I want to change things, like if I want to change the roof, I'll charge my sim money for that because that would cost a lot of money in real life. And if there's anything like bad lot traits, like the place is grimy or everything breaks more often, or if I had like water stains on the walls, I would charge my sim to remove that. And so that makes it a lot harder for your sim to actually build their dream house. And it feels like more of an accomplishment, to me at least, when they actually achieve that. And you don't need mods to charge your sim that money. You can just open the cheat menu and then type money and whatever amount you want them to have. So if there were some water stains here, for example, and I got rid of them and I want to charge my sim 200 simoleons, I'll just take this amount here, 6821, and then I'll type money 6621, and then that subtracts 2,200 simoleons from my Sims account. So that's just a way that I like to make things feel more realistic, and I hope you liked this idea and the other ideas in the video. Let me know if you do anything like this to make your Sims life more realistic. I would love to hear more ideas in the comments, and let me know if you're interested in me making some kind of tracking system for your Sims' stories, their personalities, and little things too, like their accomplishments, their ages, their skills, things like that. I would love to make all kinds of tools to keep track of your Sims' lives and their stories. And if you haven't already, feel free to like and subscribe so you can see when I post more videos. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!